Okay, it is 10 o'clock. I'm calling to order the regular meeting of the Gillum County Court. This is May 21st, 2025. And a quorum has been established. 3 county court members are present. We'll now have the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome. Okay, are there any additions or revisions to the agenda? None? Okay. We will go into correspondence and public comment. We'll begin with public comment. Individuals wishing to address the county court may do so at this time and at other times throughout the meeting. Speakers are asked to raise their hand to be recognized by the chair, give their name and city, and limit their comments to 3 minutes. So we have a list. We have 4 people on the list. We'll also ask for online comments after that. Lynn Ball, come on up.
Right ones. Good morning to the court. I would like to thank Commissioners Leah Watkins and Grant Wilkins for this opportunity to speak before the court. And I extend a special thank you to our Honorable Judge, Chris Patnode. Before I make my remarks, I would like to say that my wife and I spent countless hours and contributed a significant amount of cash to support both the recall and the election of our newest court members. We still fully support both of them. I'm not going to read my letter to the editor, as it will be available in today's newspaper. However, I would like to share Judge Patnode's response to Stephen Allen and myself in regard to my letter to the editor and my counter response. Thank you. This is Judge Patnode's response. The bulk of the current strategic investment program, competitive grant funds, will likely be exhausted next budget year, 26-27. With the sunset of the Shepherd Flat agreement, the SIP agreement amount to over $3 million per year. So most of the grant funding we currently enjoy will not be available, but will roll into Code 4 property taxes. The concern you outline will take care of itself, because there will likely be only one more cycle of competitive grant funds as we currently know them, after the grants that are being awarded for the 25-26 fiscal year. Therefore, I must ask, what grant funding stream are you referencing? When and if the next windfall comes to Gillum County, parentheses, nothing is certain until agreements are signed and ground is broken. Work sessions will be held to determine how funds will be distributed. I have seen more strife from the competitive grant funding than any other Gillum County program over the last year since being in the position of county judge. I'd like to say that is a red flag. That tells everyone that listens to that statement that something different needs to be done in the approach. It takes an extreme amount of work outside of normal duties to negotiate SIP agreements to provide this funding, including lost sleep, looking at all angles and crunching numbers. Then to have strife over the funding makes one wonder why we work so hard to create such a pool. Gillum County has been extremely generous to our taxing districts and nonprofits to create a funding pool for lasting projects with these funds, which is only available for a limited time. My hope is that viable projects are submitted for funding, providing something to show for this special limited funding. One last comment. If grants are not applied for, there is little Gillum County can do to create equity. I encourage you to come up with some great North End projects to apply for with the last of the windfall from Shepherd's Flat. My counter addressed to Stephen Allen and Judge Patno. First of all, I want to thank you for your response. Your response was accurate on what's happening in SIP funds. If you read my comments, I never had any SIP questions. I only had addressed the grants to be considered on May 21st court meeting. That's today. You mentioned the concerns I have will take care of themselves. In my opinion, this is simply not correct. My concern is the 78% to 28% disparity in grants to be distributed today on May 21st. Your question as to what grant funding stream I'm referencing is not a point in my letter. In fact, I never mentioned a stream of any source. I'm talking about grant distribution in general to include Economic Enhancement Fund from WM. They are disproportionate south and north. You say it's such an irony that there is such strife over the gift of the SIP funds we've all been given. Maybe we should strike the word all from your response and insert the truth disproportionately given. If we were to do that, we would be on track with my intended message. You mentioned the extreme amount of work you put into work-related SIP agreements. I would, of course, like to point out you have more highly capable staff than any judge that has came before you. Personally, I'm happy that you have the extra help. I hear nothing but good about the staff. As to the generosity to our taxing districts that you mentioned in your response, my understanding is the state sets the rate on tax districts, not our county court. Am I missing something? You mentioned the court's generosity to nonprofits. I agree. The court is and has been very generous. Could you get me a breakdown on that, a dollar amount showing north versus south? Your last comment, if grants are not applied for, there's little the county can do to create equity. I refer you to my detailed plan I sent you and also read before the Arlington City Council, who, by the way, received the plan with enthusiasm. The email is dated February 24th and titled Gillum County Grants and Their Historic Distribution to North and South. You read that, am I correct? Mm-hmm. All of you had that and read it. So that kind of answers two or three of the points that's brought up here on how the court has latitude to do many things, one of which is streamline, change, or fix disparity. Mm-hmm. So that's the end of my comments.
Okay.
And
thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, next, Sean Troutman. Is he one to speak?
No, I got put on the wrong list on there. But there, I'll wait until if you have questions later on with that. Thank you.
Tiffany Wilkins, did you want to speak?
No.
Okay, and Dr. Jonathan Foss. Do you have anything to say?
Just happy to be here, incoming superintendent for Arlington School District, and very nice to meet you all.
Welcome.
I'll be coming more often.
Great, thank you. We meet here the third Wednesday in Arlington of every month. Okay, so do we have any online comments?
No. You have a thingy on the middle of your screen up there. I can't read it. I don't know if it matters.
Yeah, thank you.
No.
Okay. No online comments. All right. Correspondence, we have the announcement, we're going to be holding a strategic plan roundtable meeting. The reason we're having this meeting within our strategic plan once a year, Gillum County Court is supposed to convene all, taxing districts, other entities that are affected, by decisions of the county, and this will be July 8th. And one of the topics is going to be, we will be beginning negotiations with Amazon. We need everybody thinking about what we need to be asking for in round figures so that we will have one shot at our ask, and the more people talking, thinking about this, the better. So it's time for us to start thinking about that. I think if we are doing all of the thinking and decision making, that's the wrong approach. We have to get everybody at the table to help us not miss anything with this chance. There is documentation in your packet 3.2 under discussion of the broadband funding. Things are changing. We have, there's a pause that's placed on the funding. It's coming down from the federal government. The pause could result in significant change to the program requirements and evaluation criteria. So it sounds as if there could probably be some different types of internet as part of this, as opposed to fiber. So what's going to happen is that Anya is at the first meeting in June that Nick Green will be here, and he's going to update us on that. Yes. So that is the status for the BEAD funding at this time. There's a letter from Murray's Pharmacy in your packet regarding a flooding issue that John Murray wrote to the county court. It's Murray's position that the fact that the Gillum County bus shed was put in and engineered as is causing them a water problem. I reached out to the transportation director. We went over and looked at it while it was raining to see exactly what it was doing. There were blocks put in, but it's not a solid retaining wall. And there's some pooling of water, but I think there's a difference in opinion of what's causing this. So I would like to discuss what we should do. I reached out to Dewey Kennedy as well because he did some of the work on it. And I don't know if we should get somebody else to look at it.
Yeah, because some of that downtown is got springs underneath of it, because I know
Yeah.
the title company, we had a sub pump underneath of it.
Right. They put in
So-
French drains on their side to divert the water. But when it rained, there was a pool of water that hadn't started flowing yet, and that day it didn't flood. But there was pooling of water at the base of the bus barn.
So Murray's put in some additional drains.
They did.
And the wall, I don't know what it looks like, I haven't been there, but the wall that's put up, that was put up by who?
It was Dewey Kennedy,
Okay,
worked on it, and they're blocks like, they're blocks.
Just-
It's not a
Just the
solid
concrete.
retaining- Yeah,
big,
yeah.
it's a big
Mhm.
2x3 or whatever,
Right.
or 6-foot box.
But Dewey said he would look at it again. I just wanted to ask you what direction you think we should go.
I don't know if we can fit some kind of a gutter that would divert the water behind there. So it must be just right between that building and the
Yeah.
Murray.
The other school of thought on this is they put in another shed. And I think
Murray's,
yes, Mary's put in another shed, and Gillum County's position may end up being that it's actually making a little river because of the shed that they put in. So I just think an independent analysis might be the best thing to see whose responsibility it is. But should we have to pay for that completely if both of us are wanting this looked into?
do we have any other suggestions or?
Yeah, he said
Okay.
he had a few other things he could try, so.
What are we gonna do with that building after the bus barn's built? Are they gonna store county vehicles in there?
Yeah. We're not getting rid of it, no.
Yeah, we just need somebody that
Mhm.
knows what to look at.
All right, we'll work on that.
To try to address it.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay, we will do that. Let's see. Gilligan burn ban notice. Burn ban goes into effect June first, is that correct? I don't know if that. Yes, June first. Just making sure the community is aware. All right. Consent agenda. Regular meeting minutes from May 7th. How are the minutes?
I have a statement on clarification on my thoughts. I just wanted to make sure, because I think it was confused a little bit. The minutes state that Commissioner Wilkins would work with Anya to get a meeting together to start talks, including north-south fire and ambulance. Sheriff Bettencourt suggests talks need to be about future and what we need to start planning now. My commissioner position, I want to make clarification that I've met town halls with Senator Wyden, Merkley, and stressing my concerns about emergency medical services, ambulance staffing. And I wanted to clarify that. I think some of the confusion was I met with Shannon Kopic, I think it was the 30th of April, to see about their grant funding that their shortfall for the fire district. And I actually visited with Casey a little bit there that day too, but my commissioner position is my concern, and I think my task should be emergency medical services only, not fire. So I think there was a little,
Okay, so I guess, first of all, do we believe at the time the minutes were written, was that an accurate statement? I mean, do they need to be amended before we go on to the issue of who will manage those meetings?
well, I guess my intention was EMS only, not fire. That's where I'm coming from. So
Okay,
how that came about, I might have been making some notes, but anyway,
okay,
I don't know what the court thinks, but.
all right. Let's just go, if there's going to be a motion for an amended minutes, you can do that when we get to the point of approving the consent agenda. So we can just go on from the rest of it, and then you can decide if you want to make a motion to amend the minutes.
I
If you
think,
believe
so
it
the
happens
question
differently
is,
than that.
EMS is it both medical and fire
Mhm.
technically?
Yeah.
See, I'm
So-
looking at Katie.
Well, I think if we get through the consent agenda and the minutes issue, then we can talk about, when we're done,
Yeah,
what we're gonna do going forward with the meeting. So.
Okay.
So 4.1 is the minutes. Consider approval of amended funding for Concord Food Pantry. Consider approval of amendment to funding agreement for Arlington Health. Both of those, Anya, did those both have a $2,000 increase?
Yes.
Okay, from prior.
Yes.
And what happened there? One entity asked for an increase, so we offered it to the other, to be fair to both entities. Consider approval of amendment to funding, consider approval of intergovernmental agreement for Condon School District for library services. This is an ongoing agreement. And consider approval of amendment 16 to Oregon Health Authority agreement for financing of public health. We receive several of those a year. And consider approval of agreement for USDA Wildlife Services. Do we have a motion to consider the consent agenda, or are there any other questions regarding items on the consent agenda?
So I want to clarify so we're gonna address this a little bit later?
The issue itself, but we're just getting the minutes approved
Okay,
right now.
okay.
Yeah. So is there a motion to approve the consent agenda and a possible motion for?
I move to approve the consent agenda with clarification on the 4.1 regular meeting minutes for May 7th, 2025 by Grant Wilkins.
Okay,
I'll second the motion.
okay, it has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
I
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Okay, was that clear for you, Anya, for the minutes?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, so since we're on the subject, let's just talk about how we go forward with the suggested meeting for EMS and fire was discussed. If you're interested in just working on the EMS side and you feel there should be a separate meeting for fire,
Well,
is that, which is,
well, I guess my clarification is,
Mhm.
Sheriff Betancourt addressed that his thing was fire and ambulance services. And my position as commissioner, I'm very concerned about the EMS staffing, ambulance. And, like I say, April 30th, I visited with Shannon about their short funding on they're putting for because of the tax appeal for the fire service.
Yeah.
And then, of course, she shared some concerns that they're facing also in the south end of the district. So my commissioner position is I think that I would like to dial in on the EMS, emergency medical services, ambulance side.
okay.
And,
So what we'll do then is, if it's a consensus of the court, you can handle getting the ambulance, people together to just facilitate a conversation for, north and south. Is that correct?
I think that's, my position is, I think that's one of our immediate concerns coming down the road.
Okay, so then fire. Would
So
you like to have set a meeting up, or do you want the administration to do it?
So my concern with separating them is that we, on the south end, we are pretty short of volunteers. Casey can probably
Mhm.
verify that. And then our fire rolls with the ambulances on recs and stuff. So
So do they.
we're tied together regardless of, so I think that we should just, I don't want to miss the opportunity to tie them both together and
What you could do is just have a meeting where you're just talking about one subject. And then that's gonna fall, so they're not intermixed. You could do it all at once. It just would be, who's gonna take this part, who's gonna take the other. And there's not anything we're doing besides facilitating the meeting and just making sure people are together.
because I'm guessing the Arlington fire crew rolls with the ambulance on
do.
recs on the freeway
They do.
too. So
Mhm.
Certain,
they're an integral part of it.
yeah. I don't think they roll every.
They're supposed to roll on our end, they're supposed to roll with all the recs.
Okay, so the admin can just take the fire side of it. And we can just work on notifying everybody. I'm sure it's just gonna be 3 phone calls and getting everybody together, and figuring out the date. Okay, that's how we'll proceed. All right. Okay, we've approved the consent agenda. Unfinished business, update on process to join Mid-Columbia Economic Development District and appointment of Gillum County member representation on the KED board. We're making really good progress on this. This has been years in the making to potentially join MCED for Economic Development District. We're to the point, as you can see from the document in your packet, 5.1, it's an email from their director, Jessica Meta, to myself about where we're at and what we need to do. So we need to have a county court member appointed as a representative. Discussion was that a county commissioner would be tasked with representing both the city and the county. And this is just a step in the direction of getting this completed. So are there any commissioners interested in being a representative of that board?
Sure.
Did you say yes?
Mhm.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Watkins. Okay, we will add your name as the appointed member.
So reading the letter, it looks like that everything went through with the state of Washington to approve.
Yeah, I just finished up an addendum to add conference, secured a letter from the Washington governor, so that's good. They've worked with GIS, we helped with that for our assessor's office. So it says the goal is to submit everything by the end of June, so that's great.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think it would be probably best in case this is that later, that we have a formal motion for your appointment.
I will make a motion to approve Commissioner Leo Watkins as the county representative to the MCEDD board.
I will second the motion. It has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Oh, none? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. All right. Okay, consider approval of intergovernmental agreement for Arlington School District and Common School District to fund a dual high school college credit program. Would you like to say anything, Mr. Troutman?
I just want to once again thank you again for taking this opportunity to help our students and try to give them the best opportunities. If you take a look at the number of credits, which I'd be happy to bring down or send to you too, that our kids are taking. You know, we're at Arlington, I can't speak for this year at Condon, but I know that we're giving out, our kids are earning approximately over 200 credits of college credit a year, 3 or 4 years, and we had kind of a pause but during the recall and stuff like that, where we weren't funded. The district picked up the cost of that, but we're thankful that you're back into picking up those pieces, and I think we got a really good plan in place for a future that'll help both districts and help our kids be successful and help them get a step forward, you know, because we can't have kids coming out of college owing $100,000, $200,000. It just is not a feasible plan for them to be successful and they move into their future. So this really helps.
Great, thank you. It was very easy to work with you and Michelle and Condon together on it. It just was great. It took us only a couple hours to work it out and just go back and forth with the details, and that both of you work together. It's a $60,000 IGA, but the way we wrote it, it's between Gillum County, not individually between each school district, just the 3 of us in the IGA. So that if one district isn't utilizing their portion with agreement by the other district, they can pick up more credits, so that we don't leave credits for students who are interested in college classes sitting on the table. So I like the cooperation and it works well. So we think it's going to work well. We hope it does. All right. So 5.2, we have action.
Do you have any?
I move to approve the intergovernmental agreement with Arlington School District number 3 and Condon School District number 25J to fund the dual high school / college credit program as presented.
I will second the motion.
It has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. And I just want to clarify that some of these dollars are civic discretionary dollars Gillum County has. So I'm a proponent for these IGAs. I think they work well. So maybe going forward, we'll be creating more of these. Okay, new business. Consider extension request for Arlington School District fiscal year 25 capital investment grant. 6.1. Okay, they're asking for a request of an extension. 60 days. And this is for their housing. We have a motion.
I will make a motion to grant the extension request for the Arlington School District Capital Investment Program.
Is 60 days going to be enough?
Well, that's what they asked for. Is it 60 days?
Yeah, when I talked with Larry initially, because when we first approved this agreement, it was prior to us making the guidelines, so I didn't have that leeway to adjust the agreement end date anyway, so it was the June 30th. They feel that they will be done within 60 days.
Okay, thanks, Brooke.
Yeah.
Did you have anything else to add? Okay. All right. Thank you, Brooklyn. Okay. We have a motion.
I move to.
Oh, wait, Grant made the motion.
made the
Oh, sorry.
I'll second. Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the Arlington School District Capital Investment Grant, extension request. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Okay. Consider approval of fiscal year 26 special projects grant applications. All right, so that is item 6.1. I do have an update from,
Operational.
hold on, let me make sure.
We're at 6.2,
Okay.
yeah, we're special project.
Sorry about that. We're on special project. That was operational. So this is just a special projects, 6 point. Special projects, okay. The recommendation from the grant committee, and I do want to just start by commending the grant committee, the structure that we have in place is there's a grant committee that makes a recommendation. These are volunteers doing the best they can with the information they have to make recommendations for funding. Also, this particular pot of money for the special projects is derived from the waste management money. Within the waste management economic enhancement ordinance, the Gillum County ordinance, it specifically states that there is south end special project money and north end special project money. And also built into the ordinance is the provision that if one of the ends of the county does not utilize all of their available funds, they will carry over to the next year. So the remaining balance on the north end special projects, if these are funded, would be $252,619. And the remaining balance for south end special projects would be $67,980. So I'm just pointing that out because there was some discussion about north and south end, and there already is a structure here in this particular one. And historically, the north end money has built more than the south end money, and it's just the way it has gone. There's nothing wrong with the way it is. The money stays and grows. But I just wanted to point that out. So all funding recommendations from the grants committee are to fully fund
Special project.
the special projects. Just want to make sure. And Brooklyn, the finance director for Gillum County, did you have anything to add on this?
No, I have no additions for the special projects. If you guys have any questions about any of the projects or you want me to quickly run through what they were, I'm happy to do that, whatever you guys deem.
I think we all had a chance to look at them. Hopefully we did. I think it's great to see what everyone comes up with and the important projects that we fund, not to pick any out, but I just, the International Club has been huge for both ends of the county. And it's been such an experience for kids to figure out the joy of travel and see the world. And then, our heritage, this Arlington Saddle Club, funds of something that is important to our community, annual event, the chamber with the 4th of July. Those are just a few I pick out of this that are really important, lasting projects that matter. Okay, anything else?
You good?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay,
I'll make a motion to approve the 25-26 special grant funding recommendations as presented.
okay.
I'll second.
It has been moved and seconded to approve the funding recommendations for the special projects grants. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Six point three, consider approval of fiscal year 26 operational support applications. Okay, we do have a letter from North Gillum County Health District. I'll just, in consideration of the need to create a supplemental budget, the North Gillum County Health District Board of Directors kindly requests that Gillum County Court impose a 30-day hold on making a decision regarding the approval of the recent operational support grant submitted for North Gillum County Health District. 30 days. Okay, so I'm assuming no objection on that. Thank you.
I guess
So the
to
second,
clarify that, this would not be coming into their budget this year. We don't pay these out until August. So there would be no need to do a supplemental budget for North Gillum Health, I guess.
okay, she's shaking her head that that's what she would like to do is wait for the 30 days.
Okay,
Carrie Shadowitz. So we will put it on hold for 30 days. I just want to look at the next date. So because you're here, the next Arlington meeting would be June 18th. That's less than 30 days, but would you like to do July, the first week in July? Okay,
It's
So-
July 2nd.
July 2nd, but that will be in Condon.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you see any concerns with that, Brooklyn, or just waiting?
I guess just depends on what you guys decide to fund here, and if you're sticking it, that'll make your decision today harder and it will not
Yeah,
affect their FY25 budget, I guess, just to reiterate again.
Not the way I'm, not my thought process, but we'll hear what everybody has to say.
Okay,
Okay, all right.
Yeah, because I'm confused why, if it's not gonna fund till after the fiscal year, then,
Well, it's not gonna fund till after the fiscal year anyway,
yeah.
but
So,
they have the reasons. Maybe their grant request would change, I don't know. Maybe she does, you don't have to say anything if you don't want to. Okay. All right,
So on the other grant funding recommendations for the operational. My question is on the Condon Early Learning Center. Because in our budget, my understanding with the Economic Enhancement Fund, there's 20% allocated for early learning sustainability. And I thought with the budget that we were talking about, that was gonna be Gillum County childcare also.
right,
And I get,
these are my thoughts on that, and everybody can talk. They're eligible to apply. We have the childcare needs survey, which when will that, I mean, it's done. It's finished. It's
Yeah.
just, we haven't pushed the go button yet. It's an online server. We have a QR code. Corey Michaelo helped us finish getting it finalized so that we could actually have it available to go out. That information, I feel we're just in a time of in the cracks here, in a crux with timing, because that survey, I hope, will tell us the needs of that fund, not just Condon Early Learning, but childcare in general. And so I just think we're in this period where we may have to do this a little bit differently, possibly, or maybe not. It's up to all of us to decide if we want to utilize that fund, regardless of the survey. But they had just as much right to apply as anyone else because they qualified.
I understand that. I guess I'm just, my concern, I'm not against funding the
Mhm.
Early Learning Center. It's
Mhm.
just where we're
Right.
pulling the money from.
Yes.
And I thought that,
Mhm.
I thought that's where we were gonna address that. And I know the court
Right.
needs to make a resolution because I thought we agreed that it was gonna be that bullet for 20% of the Economic Enhancement Fund.
Right, so that's gonna be a process because we have to amend the economic enhancement ordinance. It'll take 2 public hearings. It'll take a little bit of time because we were gonna create the endowment fund as well. But the funds are protected now. I mean, they're there, they're budgeted. And so it's however anyone wants, whatever input you wanna give on this.
and I'll just say, the whole purpose of it was to set it up as an endowment fund So that down the road, when all these SIPs go away and there is no money, then they have that pot of money. But if we use it starting now to backfill all the stuff, then there isn't gonna be much of a fund.
So my question would be, how are they gonna be funded in the meantime? If we were to create the endowment and it wasn't touched, I guess what is the answer there?
So we have at least a couple more years of, the SIP. Is that
So you're
correct?
saying use the SIP, okay.
Yeah, that's what, I think we should let that fund hold up, because if we just use it, then we might as well just stick it in a budget item and use it up. Cause what's the purpose of putting it in an endowment? If, yeah,
Well, I just, like I say, my concern
we're
is,
trying to build for the future, but
Yeah.
yeah, I'm only one court member.
Right. And I see building for the future. I'm just trying to figure out if we're gonna be asked year to year. In addition, how do we do both? Yeah, how do we do both? And I'm talking after 2 years down the road.
Well, I
So
think-
that's why,
And maybe the
Mhm.
early learning can address it, but I think when their addition is built, their income will be increased, and
Mhm.
so their ask is it's gonna continually go down.
I feel that, this is what I guess I would like to see happen is, I think that we need to somehow set up a meeting with them and try to figure this out. I'm just concerned, like I say, they're starting on this second phase, and you told me that you're concerned that you're not gonna have enough to finish that phase. Is that correct?
No, we wanted to be able to accept a really good bid, even though we hadn't finished with our fundraising. So we went ahead and got started, and we're still actively fundraising for the rest of it. And I have no reason to believe I wouldn't go ahead and finish, be able to get the rest of the funds.
So, yeah, I guess my question was, I thought my understanding from you was there was still a gap to get it completely.
There is, and we're talking with 3 different funding sources, and I don't see why we would go ahead and fill that gap. By the time that the shell is
Right.
finished, I think we'll have made the rest of the funds up, and should be able to finish the project.
So with those funds that you're counting on, were those more funds from the court? Okay,
They applied for a childcare infrastructure grant. You'll find out at the end of June, right?
And we're also speaking with Ford and Roundhouse.
Okay. Okay, Denise, you had something you wanted to say?
Well, yes.
Denise Ball.
Denise Ball,
Mhm.
City of Arlington. I'm hearing a lot of discussion on Condon Early
Mhm.
Learning Center.
Mhm.
I have no problem with the Condon Early Learning Center. But there have been some informal conversations about acquiring some land and building a new daycare, which covers a lot more children age-wise, for Arlington. And if this money is being set aside and Condon is constantly in front of the term, how is Arlington ever gonna be fairly treated?
Mhm. That's the childcare needs survey is a countywide survey. I really think we're gonna learn some things from that survey. And I think we need to give it a chance to do its work. And then we're gonna find out where the need is, the age, the, future. And if we do the survey annually, we're gonna know each year what the childcare needs are. Babies coming up, If people are working somewhere else and taking their child somewhere else to childcare, that's useful information for us to know. Just as an example, so,
Well, and we're talking about 2 separate pots of money.
Yeah. right.
We're talking about operational, and what you're suggesting would be in the capital.
You're talking about the host fee money, the economic enhancement
Economic.
ordinance.
Well, that's what Grant was talking about, but as far as, if you're talking about the grants through the SIP, that's a different pot of money for
Right.
they use for the building.
And that's true, and that funding stream for capital projects, that will open, and there will be $2 million available, so. If they have a plan for a building on a location, I hope that they can present that and apply. So,
Yeah, I'm just,
but okay, so this is what I think. I'm just gonna tell you in general. We received a letter from North Health that asked us to pause theirs. And I think that we're gonna pause theirs. And they're going to be coming to us July 2nd. And we'll consider that one then. I think we should fully fund. I think we should, let me just back up. The 6 SIP monies are changing. They are changing. It could just be temporary. It's not. There could be money in the future, but I don't think we should be making promises for the future until we have agreements signed and we have plans in place. So we've set aside $1 million for operational support, and we've set aside $2 million for this pool of money for capital projects. And I think we should stick to the $1 million. I think there's a cap.
So Chris, I have a question. Do we have leftover money in the capital projects?
Brooklyn,
might have been from some extensions maybe.
Yes, we have just over $1 million as of May 7th. So if I've awarded anything,
So there's gonna be about 3 million in that.
well, we budgeted 2.
We did,
Yeah.
but we had leftover that rolls over.
Oh, you mean the existing projects? Or do you mean extra?
Well, because we never spent all of it from last year, right, Brooke?
it goes into our unappropriated funds
Yeah,
at that
we
point.
didn't budget for it.
We didn't like
Oh, we
carry
didn't roll it over.
over. No.
Okay, never mind then.
Yeah, we
So-
just budgeted that 3.
We only budgeted what we're bringing in, not eating into our cash carryover. So, yeah.
So Brooklyn, that doesn't contain any like extensions or something from previously approved?
Yes, I think she
That's
did.
already been taken out of the 6.8 million that we had budgeted
Okay.
for this year.
Okay.
Our prior outstanding's just under 2 million to still pay out. So, and that was budgeted as well in a separate line item. So for this upcoming fiscal year, we have 3 million within that competitive grants line item, but we agreed to put $1 million towards operational support and 2 million towards capital investment for FY26.
So that's a question, should we have not just put it in unappropriated and kept it and rolled it over just like the special projects are?
Well,
That
because
makes sense.
we're gonna have, I mean, are we gonna spend the SIP funds down to nothing? Or are we gonna take the balance? There seemed to be some thoughts on saving some of that money. I mean, I think we need to have a work session before we award grants next year and decide, are we gonna have a greater vision for that balance than to just give it in as grants, because it's not the only way to
Well,
spend the money.
But did it go back into the SIP funds or did it just
Yeah,
go,
It's
to
a
go
net,
back into the unappropriated?
yeah, it's just a unappropriated.
Yeah, I think that
Good
the last
fund.
few years, yeah, within 35, that the 235, that the last few years, they budgeted a little bit higher. There was big projects coming down the pipeline that they were well aware of, that they knew that they wanted to fund. So that line item was increased. With the roll off of some of the SIPs, that lowered our revenue within 235. So then we lowered what we would be pushing out. So this year, it clearly wouldn't work. Ultimately we could do a supplemental if you guys decided you wanted to do it that way. But I guess I would recommend sticking with what we have, 3 million in that competitive grants. And then if you guys wanted to have talks at the end of next fiscal year, when we start to do our budget, about rolling off anything that's remaining of that 2 million, that really wouldn't eat so much into your cash, but I wouldn't do anything over, what you have budgeted in that 2 million. Just as Chris was saying, because our revenue has decreased so much, we don't want to start eating into our unappropriated funds so that 20 years down the road, we don't have what we're seeing now, because we have a healthy budget. That's a healthy fund for us. Not saying it's not,
And
but
we
it does
might
just
want
go
to come
back and
up with
appropriate it.
a joint project countywide that we can do something really with a good chunk of money, with the balance. Or we could have an emergency. You just don't know what could happen.
Yeah.
So it just, my main concern was seeing more money spent than we were bringing in the SIPs. And I thought this, first of all, this has to stop or we won't have no money left. So. Do you have a question?
I have something I wanted to say. As a builder, you know, I built things for years, decades. And the thing that we look at, cost per square foot. And as near as I can come up with on the early learning center in Condon, the cost per square foot is approximately 3 times the cost for a high-end home. We're talking beautiful flooring, marble countertops, walk-in showers, all that in a high-end home. The cost per square foot for this building is 3 times the national average for a high-end home per square foot. To me, that tells me something's not quite right. And I think that needs to be explored to find out what is the cost per square foot, the actual cost per square foot for this building, and why is it so high? And could have that money been better spent on a project of equal value as far as in terms of the education of the children? Now, there isn't anybody I've talked to that don't love the kids. We all love our little yellow lines, but we have to consider money when we do projects.
Okay, thank you.
I just have one more quick question. So with this support grant, I guess I'd like to sit down and meet and discuss to see where a plan or something. I mean, where is this gonna take you? Is this gonna take you for the next 12 months?
Are you talking about our application that we submitted for this year operationally?
I'm talking this one, yeah, the 300,000. So if that's awarded, then that will take care of you for 12 more months.
Yes, potentially, I mean, but the recommendation potentially will dip into savings. Because it is less than our.
Okay.
And just for reference, like we have applied for this grant, the operational support
Uh-huh.
grant for several years. This isn't.
No,
Right,
I understand that,
right.
yes.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my thing, trying to clarify was, like I say, the economic enhancement fund too, so, and that's.
Yeah.
everything. But I think we just need to have some more
Yeah, I think,
discussions about it
yeah, I just think.
going forward, after this, so.
Did you have a chance to look at the sustainability?
I did. I read this and there's some things I have questions about, from the Kelly nonprofit plan. Yeah. Like some of their suggestions.
I think what they're trying to say is we're doing everything we can. Like some of the suggestions are you could potentially reduce everyone's pay.
15%. I read that.
I would lose all my employees. So really, there is no good solution. I mean, that's part of the issue nationwide with child.
Okay, I looked at them as solutions. I guess maybe I read it from a different lens.
If I proposed to my staff that I reduce their pay by 15%, they would most likely quit.
Okay, all right,
It's not like they're getting paid a lot to begin with.
Yeah. And they don't get hers. And there's no retirement plan, there's no benefits, so you get no health benefits as it is.
okay. Either of you have any thoughts? I have a thought. Fully fund. And again, I want to commend the grant committee. They were faced with more applicants than dollars. And I also thought this might be a solution, but I don't believe penalizing entities who have been diligent and careful in their requests and thoughtful and reasonable, just because it went over. So what I would like to do is stick with the $1 million. And I'm gonna talk to the early learning first, so they're not worried, concerned. I think we should put this off to just talk about your application at the next meeting.
Okay.
Just, it's absolutely not a no, it's just, there's a lot of other things we're having to deal with here. We have North Health, and then you, who are the highest two requesters. That's just my thoughts, I don't know what everybody else thinks. And fully fund Arlington School District, their Spanish language program, the City of Arlington Library for their library services, Envision Eye Care for All, Frontier Casa, South Gillum Cemetery, South Gillum Health District, and Summit Springs Village. Fund them fully, and then just come back and talk to you, because it seems like there's loose ends with this one. So.
Yeah,
that's what-
I guess my perspective too is I'm okay with that. I guess I want to see and visit and sit down and see a plan, and more so that, so going forward, because like I say, I commend you guys for what you're doing, and I understand where you're at, your frustration with the funding, and like I said, I want to help get this resolved if we can some way, that we don't have to do this.
There is funding
We're at
there.
your mercy.
It's just how.
Yeah, whatever
Yeah.
you like, we'd love to meet with you.
Okay, so we will need, Leah, or excuse me, Commissioner Watkins, do you feel do you have anything else you want to add? Any completely different approach?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm curious of what the North Health is going to, what's gonna change with that, so, and maybe, I don't know. I don't have a problem with approving the ones that were not, that you named off.
Okay. Just take it in two different.
So we would hold out the early learning.
Right.
And then the North Gillum Health District. Okay.
Okay. Is there any further discussion? Is there a motion?
Do you want me to name them off?
Motion, yeah.
I could do, we're gonna approve the competitive, operational grants in the following amounts. Arlington School District, 27,000. City,
Full amount is the requested amount. Sorry.
oh, we're not gonna do the 27,000?
No, that's a reduced amount.
Recommendation,
Uh-huh.
okay.
Unless you make the motion how you choose, but that's what I propose,
Oh.
fully fund.
There are, I guess, sorry, before we make the motion, there are two in there that are reimbursement basis. I just want to point, I don't know if that is still, you're also approving those on reimbursement basis, or if that is.
The
They're just
two
those
that are
two.
reimbursement basis. Oh,
One
I
is
see.
that the
Vision.
The school.
The school.
Yeah.
Yes.
School district, and then the second one was Envision Eye Care.
Envision Eye Care, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so I move to, approve the Arlington School District at the fully funded amount, 32,500. City of Arlington Library, 70,000. Envision Eye Care, $44,637. Frontier Casa, 20,000. South Gillum Health District, 10,345. South Gillum Health District, 150,000, and Summit Springs Village, 200,000.
And I would second that motion.
I was just thinking about the reimbursement basis, that Arlington School District and Envision Eye Care will be on a reimbursement basis. We just need to add that to the.
So what's that gonna put us at, Brooke? quick math. Yeah.
For your total right now is 327,482. Remaining balance that you'll have to fund would be 672,518.
Right. Okay,
Okay, it's been moved and seconded.
so we have any idea where we're gonna get that from?
Get the,
Well, it's the million. Right, Brooklyn?
yeah, I just
Yeah.
subtracted what you guys just approved to fund, which was the 327,000 from the million that was already budgeted. So now between the childcare and,
And North Health,
yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
So cause the figure we had before was not fully funding them. Correct?
I think I said 327, I meant 527. Yes, the first figures we had weren't fully funded to keep it at a million, but what we listed was just under 1.2 million. What you guys are funding totals 527, 482. So you'll have 460-ish thousand dollars to award to,
To over $607 worth of $607,000 worth of requests.
Yeah. Right.
That concerns me. I'm just gonna say.
you want me to share my screen that I
Yeah,
have just
please.
the okay, so we've kind of laid out, we have our grant committee recommendations. This is what it would be if we fully funded everybody at the request that they submitted, 1.198482. This was an option, fully fund everybody, but lower your top 4 requests. Bring you just under $1 million. This in column I, number 3 is roughly what our recommendation was based off of, was doing a 16.5% reduction across the board for everybody. We clearly adjusted, we rounded numbers when we put in our recommendation. Those are 3 additional options. Right now, what you guys just decided, I don't know why this is pulling up like that. Oh, I'm missing the whole row. What you've decided. So you'll have $473,000 to award to the 2 remaining entities.
Yeah.
And I guess I'll also just say, though the decision was to cap that at $1 million and to cap the capital investments, my recommendation is to continue to do that, is to leave it at the $1 million. That's what we had predetermined. But I'm also just letting you know that is just a budget line item. If you guys were wanting to pull funds out of capital projects, then you could lower the 2 million of capital projects. Again, that's not personally what I'm recommending, but I'm just as an overview of how the budget works. That is something that's allowed within our funds.
So I thought these recommendations were the 1 million, correct?
The recommendations that we
The partial
provided,
fund.
yeah, was
Yeah.
column J, and that got us to exactly $1 million.
And that's where I thought these were.
Well, the recommendation from the grant committee, these partial fundings, took something from everyone to get you to $1 million. The grant committee decided they didn't want to go above $1 million. They
Right.
wanted to be clear on that because this money's going away, right? So what was just discussed, we don't have to worry about North Health right now because they requested that we wait. And I think I heard questions about early learning so that we're not making a quick decision on something that we might need a little more time to talk to them about. And then if we took the $1 million and fully funded all of them except for early learning and North Health, there would be a balance, which she told us, which was the 400 and, did you say 72?
73.
Available. Does that make sense? I mean, just did I explain that correctly?
Yeah, because right now we're cutting roughly 100,000 out of their request. And if we fully fund everybody else, we're gonna have to cut another 100,000 to stay under the million.
Just,
So where do we cap our,
I would feel more comfortable, using what the, grant committee, recommended, but that's me.
and cut from everyone?
Yeah, because now we're gonna be cutting greatly from just two entities, depending on what the health district comes back with. And we don't, so Brooke's the only one on the
I,
grant committee.
Yes,
I also, go ahead.
oh no, I was just mentioning that I think we do have other grant committee members online, but yes. And I don't know if, I think that the intention of doing these in the springs is for them to be able to put them into their budgets so that they can plan
Mhm.
for that. I
Mhm.
don't know if we're almost to the end of the budget season anyways. I mean, they are expecting these funds, but if we wait until
Right.
the first meeting of June, that's an option. I'm not sure what,
When I look, I'm just gonna throw out an example. And I don't like to do this because they're not here, but this is a positive comment. South Gillum County Health District, their in walk-ins into their clinic is around $440,000 a year. Their taxes are $150,000 a year. They're doing everything they can to function. And this $150,000 is vital to them because they can't do anything more than they're already doing. They don't have a tax base. They work in concert with Summer Springs Village. They have to have each other because of the nature of Summer Springs clientele. And they're 24/7. They've been around forever. They've kept their requests low year after year after year, and it has been around 150,000. They went up to 200,000. I just have to advocate for those two entities as well as the cemetery. And I mean, Frontier Casa, Envision Eye Care, City of Arlington has never asked for money for their library. The school wants to do a Spanish program. I want to advocate for those and just and take a little more time on the questions we have. There may be solutions with more time for everyone.
I'm okay with going that way too.
Is there a motion? Any more discussion? Maybe we want to talk a little bit more.
I think a big thing to keep in mind for you guys as well is that we are leading the state, the nation in a grant program like this. So we have to have grace with ourselves as we make decisions with funding like this, because we have nobody else to go look to for examples or other guidelines to go check out. Like, we are truly the leaders of this. So if you need to take more time to think about it, I think that the entities also need to be understanding in that aspect that this is a big decision. This is a big pot of money, and other entities aren't getting this opportunity to come and ask their counties for these funds. So if you guys were to decide to hold and take another 2 weeks to think about it, I would hope and I would expect that those entities would be understanding towards you guys as a county court.
Thank you. There isn't anyone else that I have found in the state that does this. And so on one hand, it's very generous, makes it very difficult with your community, which you're close to. And it doesn't seem to be a model that's done. So it's unique. We just put it that way. Was there a motion? Any discussion?
Well, I thought Leah made a motion for those other entities to accept the two.
Well, I started out doing it on the basis of what my.
Grant committee recommended.
Yes,
Yeah.
so I withdraw my motion.
Okay, all right.
And, I think we should table it.
The whole thing?
Yeah. Cause I would like more time to read
Okay.
through the two-sided.
All right.
Like I say, I think, the million's there and I think
Mhm.
I can, we can do this, but I guess we just need a little more clarification.
Yeah,
And one of the other two of you make a motion.
Sure they can.
we could. We could.
So I did talk, I think after this came out, I talked to Marta about the library part because we came together and we're trying to look at the library being under the county. And then I think the decision came from the city of Arlington to keep it under the city of Arlington. So
No.
that's not how it went down.
I don't know.
So how did it go down then?
Well, the library board wanted to remain autonomous. And that structure was not going to happen if they became under the Gillum County Library. And the city respected that. So when they decided not to pursue becoming another $250,000 burden for the county to fully support our library. I suggested for them to remain autonomous. It can't be under the city either. Maybe they apply for an operational grant so that they can have a full-time employee who receives benefits and retirement, which they've never had.
So, but that person has to be ran underneath of the city's
No,
payroll? No,
the city is not involved.
cause I thought I understood that the library was not actually an entity,
It isn't.
so, okay. Anyway, when I talked to her, she said that they would make do with the 58,000. I mean, it was better than,
That's what Arlington always does.
yeah.
We say, well, we'll make do.
Well, and it's not just Arlington that is on this cut list, so.
Any further discussion?
58,000, what you have done is to deny them their own care. That's another thing. The $70,000 that they asked for is in fact the minimum time it takes to make the wheel turn. So if they're not fully funded, somebody's gonna not be paid the right amount, or they're gonna lack health care. And I don't think that's where we wanna go.
Okay. I'm just gonna present my reasoning for my thought. I think you did a good job, Leah, of presenting yours. I think there's a lot of these that I haven't heard any controversy on. I shouldn't say controversy. I haven't heard any comment on. And I just think those are logical, fully fund, in my view. And then we can have the conversation with early learning without anybody there, and we can ask all of our questions, and then everything else isn't mixed into all of this. So I think we can there's a lot of other things at play here with all of these others, and it's just gonna provide, particularly for I feel like the focus.
I'm not afraid to do it publicly either. There's so much misinformation and misunderstanding.
Okay.
I don't mind. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think he's talking about benefits, and I'm telling you, my employees haven't ever seen those.
Right.
And so just, I don't mind
Okay,
a public meeting either.
right. Okay, good. For example, when we fund salaries and we don't know what the salaries are, I think we should know, you know, they're low.
Like $18 an hour, 24
For the staff.
experienced
For the,
teachers.
not the admin, right?
Right.
Yeah, the
And
staff
mine is,
members.
my salary is much lower than anything in an elementary school. You know, we're happy to discuss that.
Yeah, so that would be, those are some questions we probably need to talk about with this, particularly with what Kelly Nonprofit had to say. I mean, it opened up a lot of questions for me, so, okay. Where are we going?
We just wanna,
I make a motion that we fully fund Arlington School District, $32,500, City of Arlington Library, $70,000, Envision Eye Care for All, $44,637. Reimbursement basis for Arlington School District and Envision Eye Care. Printer cost of $20,000. South Gillum Cemetery District, $10,345. South Gillum Health District, $150,000, and Summit Springs Village, $200,000. In operational support funding.
so can Brooklyn give us that number where we're at though?
And she did is $472,000 free
Okay.
left.
Here, it's a-
27.
Okay, so,
The total.
okay, so we're still,
Was that the number, Brooke, was 527.42 for those?
527,482 is what is being recommended right now. From $1 million, what would be remaining in the operational support grant for FY 26 is $472,518. Which, when we come back at the following meetings, to be dispersed between your remaining entities.
We also have the childcare sustainability line item. There's a, I mean,
for additional,
possibly.
Yes, there
I-
hasn't been any, we budgeted for that. We created the separate fund, 328, I believe it is. There's a
Mhm.
separate fund for childcare endowment. We have an incoming line item for that transfer from the SIP discretionary, the 235. And then we have a transfer out line item, an expense line item, as we have to have for every fund in our budget. There, as Chris was saying earlier, there's nothing in the ordinance that speaks to how those funds are going to be utilized at this point. The funds are there, they're earmarked for childcare. However, we have not had any discussions as county court to figure out what you're going to do with that childcare endowment.
And we will have potential data by that time because of the survey
Yes,
that we can draw upon.
there's nothing that's saying I mean, it's budgeted, so you can, you know, if come January or whatever, you guys have worked through your work
Mhm.
sessions and you've changed the ordinance and you've had your meetings and your public hearings,
Mhm.
that then the childcare could come. And however you
Mhm.
guys decide to disperse those funds, they can come at that point and request funds. But I think due to the fact that we have not made those decisions with the ordinance, that is where these operational funds are coming in.
Yeah.
And until those decisions are made, I think that these operational funds they're doing the right thing here, applying for these funds. I mean, this is the
Absolutely.
path that they were directed towards until that ordinance gets lined
Right.
up.
yeah, I just wanna make sure that we can still address the two. And I'm not saying not fund either one of them, but
Right,
so,
yeah.
I would
We
agree
have
that
options.
these I mean, their total requests together are 671,000 for the Common Early Learning Center and the North Gillum Health District. $671,000 of our $1 million budget. So now, yes, you're gonna have to find $200,000. If you're choosing to stay within that $1 million budget, you'll have to find $200,000 to take from those two entities' requests.
What if the request would have been $1.5 million? What would we have done? I
Yeah.
mean,
Yes. There's-
unless we cap it ourselves, this can happen and we, you know.
There's one comment on
Okay.
there from Sarah Kirby McNee that she would also prefer to have that meeting in public about the Common Early Learning Center,
Oh, that's
just like.
what we're talking about, doing this in a public meeting.
Are you?
I think I have a motion on the floor.
Yeah.
But I just want to make sure we didn't lose track of where we
No,
were.
I understand that. I just want to make sure there's a way that we can. I know that that's set at $1 million. And I just want to make sure that we're not ruling out the funding on the other two. As long as we have a way to possibly address it, but, and if we do,
Maybe there's other funding sources.
yeah,
I mean,
so, anyway. Where are you at with her motion?
You can second it.
Well, no, I know, I didn't know if you had any more discussion or,
No, I think I made it pretty clear how I felt.
Yeah.
So,
that you're okay with those two? Or,
no,
Yeah.
I'm worried
One on the
about
table.
how we're gonna, they can come up with the 200,000 to for the two entities. And I don't really want to dip into the endowment fund, so. But you can vote it and I can nay it. So,
We can talk about the whole thing at the next meeting too. I mean, it's up to you guys. I said my piece,
Well-
Lee said hers.
all right, I will go ahead and second that motion, and then that way we're taking care of the others right now. And then my feeling is to proceed to address the other two and see that we can come up with a solution to fund them. So I will second
Okay.
Judge Patno's motion.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded to fully fund all entities for capital, for operational support grants, with the exception of Condon Early Learning Center, which will be discussed at the next regular meeting of the Gillum County Court. Where are we at? What is the?
I think it's June 6th.
June 6th, sorry about that.
Sorry.
Okay.
June 4th.
June 4th. So we'll make sure you get a notice of that. And North Gillum County Health District, which the date we set for that one, July 2nd
In Condon.
in Condon. Arlington School District will be on a reimbursement basis as well as Envision Eye Care. So. And you seconded the motion.
Yes.
Just wanted to clarify where we're
Yep.
at.
Yep.
Okay. Any other discussion? It's been moved and seconded. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
I,
Motion carries. Okay, so we'll talk with you about the rest of it from there. Right. The next item on the agenda. Consider approval of fiscal year 25 capital investment grant application, South Gillum Rural Fire Protection District. 6.4. Okay, South Gillum Rural Fire Protection District has requested $30,000 in capital investment grant funds. Do you have any questions about their application? This is for purchasing new PPE to replace outdoor dated and damaged firefighting PPE. Any questions?
I don't
is
have.
there turnouts and everything? Is this our turnouts and stuff like that?
Yeah, if I remember right off the top of my head, it's 12 structural helmets, 4 full sets of structural PPE printouts, 9 sets of wildland PPE pants, shirts, helmets, And there's kind of some of the odds and ends of the wildland stuff.
Okay.
Any discussion? Or is there a motion?
I move to approve capital investment grant 2425 as follows for South Gillum County Rural Fire Protection in the amount $30,000 as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and second to approve capital investment grant for South Gillum Rural Fire Protection District in the amount of $30,000. Is there any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Okay, update on EDA Grain Lab release of covenant. This has been an interesting project. This is the grain lab out at Shetler Station Industrial Park, and as you know, this has been, it was under a 20-year covenant with an EDA federal loan grant, sorry, it was a federal grant, and getting out from underneath that grant has been a little bit of work, and it's taken some legal advice and legal guidance. The building was full of all sorts of grain equipment. We're working on emptying it. This covenant was presented by the federal government, EDA, and our legal counsel is working with the federal government to verify that this is a covenant that will work. Once this is signed, we're released. The document does need to be recorded. And there are, of course, the two conditions: shall not be used for religious purposes or discriminatory purposes. So that is where we're at with that. I just wanted to give you the update. Once we hear it's a go on this, you'll be presented with this to consider for approval. Where we're at with, we have the list of items to surplus. We have Arlington School visiting today to gather some items that are going to be donated.
And 4-H.
And 4-H is going to use some of them too. So the list, it will be on public surplus. Is that the site of all the items, which is the national?
I don't know what
Public
it's called.
surplus,
I guess, on
okay.
Public surplus. site.
Yeah, and that'll be up soon, very soon, probably next week if it's not already up. Okay. And then we'll be getting rid of all of that equipment that's in there. And then the building will be available for rent. We have to have the release of covenant. We have to have the building emptied. We have to do some repairs and cleaning. We're researching fiber to the building because I think it'll help us market it to have good solid internet. And, anybody that wants to rent some office space, there'll be some. Okay, 6.6. Consider approval of position descriptions and personnel action letters hourly to salary transition.
So I have a question on the last one. Do we need to approve or recommend you to be able to sign off on this? Or we'll do it at the time?
Let's just do it at the time.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think we're quite there because it's the federal government. There could be some tweaks to it.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so Brooklyn.
These,
6.6.
as just a continuation of the discussion we've already been having with, you guys have approved the LOA with the union to move to salary positions. This is just those position descriptions I wanted to share with you guys. Very minimal changes. I think the only thing we did was add like in the header portion that they're salaried and that they're a 1.0 FTE because those things were not listed on the PDs before. And then we added a short 2-sentence employment section that just states whether they are salaried, overtime eligible, or salaried, not overtime eligible, as the PDs also didn't lay that out.
Right. Good.
And then that came direction from the attorney. They'll sign new PDs plus a PA that is also in this somewhere, maybe at the bottom.
Yeah, it's a big amount of documents. Yes. Okay.
The one,
So-
I will point out, the sheriff's department's not in here. It's just due to just some schedule conflicts. They weren't in the office when I was putting this together, so that they'll come at the next meeting. And then the library director, I missed her. She emailed
okay.
me. So
Okay,
Sorry,
so we'll have
Mary.
to add those.
yes.
Okay, all right. So 6.6, there's a suggested motion. First of all, we need to make sure that we're comfortable with this and understand it. I am.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
good.
Okay. All right, so there is a suggested motion on the second page, yeah.
I'll move to approve the slate of position descriptions as presented.
Okay,
Second.
okay, it has been moved and seconded to approve the slate of position descriptions as presented. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Next motion.
I'll move to approve the personal action letters as presented also.
Okay. I'll second.
Second.
Oh,
I can second.
okay. Go ahead. It's been moved and seconded to approve the personnel action letters as presented. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Okay. So 6.7, here we go.
To do 6.9 first.
Six
Yeah,
point
this
nine.
is,
Okay, we need to do this out of order. So 6.9. Okay, so the reason we're doing 6.9 first is we're
yes.
considering this part-time administrative assistant position first before the position descriptions, salary schedules, yes. Because if you don't, we don't, it's a moot point. The background on this is we attempted a community development HR position that we did not find a candidate that had the credentials we were looking for. So we decided it would be better to utilize the exceptional staff we currently have that has high level skills, Brooklyn Griffith and Anya Mundy, to do some of the higher level things. And a part-time person that the courthouse can share, that's an entry level person that could do data entry, AP entry, work on agenda packets, help scanning, fill in an office where there could be a maternity leave like is coming up for someone, or other vacations to fill a roving person within the courthouse that could help everyone. So that's the reasoning behind it.
Makes sense. So we just need to approve this job description?
Live the new part-time administrator, yeah.
Okay, I move to approve the new position of part-time administrative assistant as presented.
I will second the motion.
Okay, it has been moved and seconded to approve the new part-time administrative assistant position as presented. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Okay, now we go back to 6.7. 6.7. Okay, Brooklyn? Are you there?
yes, 6.7, was just, we just added this position we just discussed. So the resolution is simply amending the non-represented employee salary schedule for FY 25. So which would be their pay rate through June 30th. They are listed under by the library and the facilities director. They're in that same administrators right underneath there. I thought I highlighted it red, so I apologize for that. But this is resolution R 2025-8.
Does that answer your question, Leah, about where they're at?
So,
They're entry
yeah,
level.
the only question I had was that with the COLA, that is not, the 2671 is not over what the, office help for the deputy clerk or any of those would receive.
That is the same salary level as deputies.
Okay.
Okay,
Good.
with the increase in the COLA.
Mhm.
Effect, that'll come up in the 2025-9 for the next salary schedule will show the change for the new fiscal year.
Okay,
Okay,
I'm good with that then.
all right, good. Okay, do we have a motion for resolution 2025-09.
I move to adopt resolution number R 2025-09 as presented.
That was 08.
Sorry about that. That was me. It's 08.
Oh, 08?
08.
Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve resolution number R 2025-08. Is there any discussion? We're ready to vote?
Yeah.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Okay, and the last one is 6.8.
Same thing, just for FY 26, just ensuring we get them in our official salary schedules. Oh, and so you'll see a different, I guess I will point out that on FY 25, like the facilities in the library were in that same box as her because they were hourly positions, but starting July 1, they're moving to salaried. So on this salary
Right.
schedule that you see for FY 26, administrative assistant is on its own line.
Yes,
Because
okay,
everyone else moved to salary, so it looks a little
That
different.
makes sense.
That's why it's like that.
okay, that makes sense. And the reason we're covering this with 2 different fiscal years is the chance that we could have somebody hired during this fiscal year.
Yeah, yes.
Okay. All right. Is there a motion?
I'll move to adopt resolution number R 2025-09 as presented.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to adopt resolution number R 2025-09. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. All right, we're down to the last
Jen.
one. You waited till the
Hi,
bitter
Jen.
end. Consider event center funding and contingent award of construction contract. Fairgrounds Event Center.
Morning.
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 So we had, I'm just gonna, it's all right if I just jump in here. So we bid the fairgrounds project last Wednesday. I think I have a summary of the bid summary in there, and then also what I think the projected costs for the project are.
Can you give us, it's really not your job, but I can do it if you don't, just so that
What do you need?
Commissioner Wilkins understands the history of the funding.
Oh, okay.
Which it really isn't but I can.
No, that's fine. I mean,
Um,
or I can tell you what my kind of
Yeah.
history of the funding is. So the Gilliam County Fairgrounds, the state had some money that came available a couple of years ago that Gilliam County, the fairgrounds got, and was, I think the actual number is $1.277 million, $1.3 million.
Legislative earmark or something. maybe?
Yeah, it was something I think that.
We got $1 million. And then there was a 2.7 or 22.
It was some number divided by 36.
Lottery, yeah.
And it ended up being 277.
Yeah.
So there's some funding. So we started on this project really 2.5 years ago with this project. And so the project's kind of grown, it's morphed a little bit over time. But so what we have right now, I don't know if you're familiar with the project or not, but.
No, I just know that I understand that there was some money that came and.
Yeah, so roughly for this construction bid right here, it would be roughly on the construction side, it would be roughly 50%. Gilliam County and roughly 50% the fair board or that money from the fair. So the scope of the project is about a 3,000, it's just under that event center that will replace kind of the meeting room and the kitchen that's on the very west end of the exhibit hall right now. So we're tearing off actually the old kitchen and that meeting room because the floor is kind of sloped with bathrooms and accessibility. We're building a standalone building. And then we're rebuilding the end of the building and converting some of that space into storage for the event center, but we're treating them as 2 separate buildings. And then there is a grain bin gazebo next to it. It's kind of a seating area out where the old house used to be, or where recently the beer garden's been held after the fair in that area. There's also a windmill that's being donated. I think it's the windmill that's going to be donated from the Stone Ranch. It's going to be put on site as a kind of a decoration to improve the facade of the facility. And then we're making some pretty significant upgrades to the electrical system on site and data, because that's been an ongoing issue. And some of the electrical stuff is kind of a hodgepodge of antiquated stuff. And we're also setting this up because Chris Fitzsimmons, and I think the sheriff's, I'm not sure which entity is actually pursuing this, is pursuing a FEMA grant, because that fairgrounds has been used as a fire camp for our last two major fires.
Sure.
And probably before that, those are the ones I remember. And so there's some money out there for a generator. So we're trying to kind of configure this so that we put the generator in, we're teed up so that we can do some of the other stuff that's in the grant for that. And so that all adds up to the cost of the building. So we had, there's a third part here too. The third part is, and there was a bid alternate in the bids that came in on Wednesday that had, it was about $90,000, $89,000 plus or minus dollars to accommodate potentially putting some commercial cooking equipment in the space that would allow, and the reason, the thinking on that was really to allow in the future, if senior meals wanted to move up to that site, or if they wanted to have more commercial cooking operations, then they could. So what that involves is having a hood, basically a grease hood. There's no fryer, but there is a grill. So there's a grease hood, and then there's a stand-up commercial dishwasher, and there's a hood associated with that. So there's additional electrical and makeup, air, and a bunch of HVAC stuff. And so that was one of the bid alternates that we'll talk about here in a second on the website. Okay. So the bids were pretty close. We had the low bid, and I don't have the number, I don't have the paper in front of me, but the low bidder was on the base bid value was Bunch Construction, which is out of Vancouver. I'm working with them currently over in Sherman County on the Sherman County bus barn, which is the paired project with the Gillum County bus barn. And then second place was Kirby Nagelhout Construction Company, which is doing the current bus barn across the street. But then when we start adding the alternates in, particularly alternate number 2, which allows us to put some new power, it's actually just for conduits, but conduits and data out to the announcer stand at the rodeo grounds, then Kirby Nagelhout becomes the low bidder. And I think that's one that should be done. And part of the reason for that, currently with the data set up at the site, that announcer stands a relay, but it's not set up very well right now. So relaying, the power's not great. And then there's a radio relay that would be nice to eliminate. So in front of the county court there's 2 bids that I'm hoping that we approve today, or approve one of them today. And the question, besides approving the bid and funding the project, is, do we do alternate number 1 and alternate number 2? And my recommendation is, of course, to do both of those, because I think there's value in doing both of those. And I think that I was pretty happy with the numbers that we got. I know that they're big numbers, but I thought they would have been bigger a year ago, I'm pretty sure. So I feel pretty good about that. And so I've talked a lot. Does anybody have any questions?
So the only question, I know you're talking about the
Right.
power to the rodeo announcer and stuff. The under the grandstands, is that fed from the old?
So right now
I mean, does that take
On
care
power?
of it too? Yeah, I'm just curious.
well, so now we're going into the weeds here a little bit. So right now there is one service on site. So all the power comes in at the northeast corner of the exhibit hall, right across from the show arena. And then it splays out from over there. And it comes down, it actually feeds down Cottonwood to the corner of the event center, where the west exhibit hall, and then it turns and it goes to the south to a pole that's on the south side of the midway. So right next to the track, right in the middle. And then from there, power goes to the office, and it goes to the grandstands. And then it goes to the grandstands, and then the power for the restrooms goes through the grandstands and up to the restrooms on the other end. So what we're going to do is replace that service with a bigger service, a bigger 3-phase service. And then we're taking power, we're gonna get rid of the overhead power across the midway, and then we're gonna reuse the connection from the pole that's on the south side of the midway to refeed the grandstands side of it. And then the office, that's kind of a separate issue, but we're also gonna put a new feed to the office in anticipation, partly that office will be placed as well.
So in a condensed thing, it is being addressed too.
Yeah, it's being
Okay,
addressed
that's-
too.
That was my,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, it's
that
being
was all I
addressed. So we're
needed.
trying to upgrade that,
Yeah.
but most of it, and then Columbia, so and there's some additional costs that I have on that last page, and one of them was Columbia Basin, which Columbia Basin's already done a bunch of that work, actually, because it made sense for them to, but they haven't given us the transformers for the new project yet. So, any other questions?
This is gonna be a county-wide asset, a county-wide event center. I want to clarify that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is a great project. I think it's gonna be a great looking project. I'm excited about this one.
And there, you know, it
Because
will
the
lead to
fire camp was in there for,
Mm-hmm,
right, weeks, right?
Months, actually, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so now, and then it's, I think it's signed up to be the emergency, center in case we have an emergency
Yeah.
too.
Correct. I'm not sure about that, but I know that part of the reason for the generator is to help accommodate that. And so on the generator side, what we're trying to do is set that up so that the generator can feed the event center, or not the, well, it will feed the event center and the office. And the office is important because that's where all the data comes from, right? So all the data that comes, right now, that's the hub for the data that serves Burns Park, as well as the fairgrounds. And that was an issue during this fire. So there's gonna be a backup generator that will serve that, the event center, and then there's also in the grant putting cooling in the exhibit hall or exhibit halls. Actually, I can't remember. I think it's exhibit halls plural.
Yeah. I think it's both.
It's both of them, so that can be used as kind of a command center for, particularly for fire camps as part of that. So those three would be on the generator that we hope is a forthcoming project, but is not currently.
Yeah, 'cause they had-
We don't know if that's been.
They had to roll the swamp coolers in there.
Right.
Last year.
Right, and so I think there's a provision for 7 split ductless AC units in that space. And then I think we also put in some money for that to insulate the ceilings in those spaces to help make the AC a little more efficient.
help
So-
with the heat.
Chris Fitzsimmons is on.
Oh, good.
Did you want to add something, Chris? You there, I don't know why. We cannot hear you. I don't know what's going on there. She's not
You can
muted.
call my phone.
I'm not sure what's going on. We can't hear you, Chris. Sorry.
Can she chat?
Yeah. Can you put something in the chat and I can read it to the court?
Tell her to, she can call my phone.
Or call Leah's phone?
Well, I think that'll take the two ideas,
What's that?
the project to tear down and go up 6-8 months or.
I think it's gonna be longer than that. We have a longer schedule than that. Really, my goal is to be done by Memorial Day next year.
Can you hear me now?
There, oh, there she is.
Yes.
My microphone was turned down for some reason. So I just want to reiterate that the building has been used for many functions, and it's designated as a shelter, a reunification site. It gets used for fire base camp, and it's amazing how many times we've used it for fire base camps. And when we had the anhydrous ammonia leak, we actually opened it up for a shelter here not too long ago, and it gets used. I don't know how many times, baby showers, bridal showers, there's been weddings, there's been funerals, 4-H. It's
It uses
amazing
a lot.
how busy that place is. Sorry, I'm losing my voice. How often that place gets used. And I don't think about it until I talk to Sammy and she's like, oh yeah, this is being used this weekend. It's getting used this time. It is amazing how much that building gets used. And it's not the best for ADA, I will tell you right now. We just really need to, and we've had plumbing issues with the existing one. During COVID, it was our CPOD place. I mean, it's just a go-to for everything. I can't even imagine. Yeah, just don't even know what to say about it. And it is, long, needs to be, repaired, replaced. It's sinking. The foundation underneath it, Jeff can talk about. The floor, is unlevel. But anyhow, I don't know what else to say other than, the money is great to have from the state that we got the 1 million that Greg Smith went after for us. The 277,000 came from the Business Oregon through the lottery funds. So we probably wouldn't have even thought about this and had that money not come to us. So whatever we can do to try and get this to go through would be wonderful.
Okay, are we ready to consider this request? And your recommendation again is?
I would recommend that we do, the base bid plus alternate 1 and alternate 2. Which there should be a total at the bottom. Did
Yeah,
I do that?
Yeah.
Here.
Want to make sure when they make the motion, it's.
Okay. So it's this one right here.
This is the
Okay.
Would
total,
be
right, with
2.385 million. That's the one, yeah.
And then we're gonna say this.
So this is the base bid, and then
Mhm.
these are the 2 alternates that
Okay.
add into it, and so K and CC would be the.
Okay.
So we want to include the base bid, alternate 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Correct.
Mhm. Four.
Yes.
Mhm.
Are you, any more questions then?
Nope.
I also moved to make a motion that we approve the Kirby Nagel Howe Construction Company as presented for the base bid and alternate 1 and alternate 2 for a total of 2,385,000 as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the bid from Kirby Naval House Construction Company. Base bid with alternate 1 and alternate 2 for a total amount of $2,385,000.
I'm gonna interrupt for a second, and I'm sorry that I didn't get in front of this for a second, but we have to really kind of have this be a contingent. I forgot to mention that, right? So
Okay.
Oregon law requires that before we can officially award the project, we have to issue a notice of intent to award. So there's a 7-day period where if somebody wants to dispute the bid, that they have an opportunity to do that. So what we contingency, so sometimes the way that we word this is like, this is contingent, this award that you just made is contingent on there being no complaints during the 7-day period following the notice of intent to award.
Good piece of information to have.
Yeah, it is. Sorry about that. I'm sitting here and I'm like,
It needs to be caught.
it
Yeah.
needs to be caught.
Uh-huh.
Start over?
Contingent upon the, say it again.
It would be so that the award is contingent upon there being no disputes to the award during the 7-day notice of intent to award period.
7 days of intent to award.
Mhm.
Yep.
Right.
All right, let me try
Amend
this.
motion.
Try this again. I'll amend my motion. All right. I so make a motion to award Kirby Nail House Construction Company the base bid, alternate 1 and alternate 2 for 2.385 million, contingent, no dispute to
Notice
of the 7 days of intent. Is that
during the 7-day notice of intent to award period.
during the 7-day notice of intent to award? Okay.
Okay. We'll go second.
Second.
All right. It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Great, thank
Go
you.
forth.
If it's all right, I'd like to make one more comment here. I feel like, we've had 3 projects bid in common this spring, and I feel like the pricing on them has been favorable. The construction market is better than it was. And so there was a comment made earlier today that there was a building that was 3 times the cost of the average house. And I'm like, so to be clear, the cost of that building is $415 a square foot. in round numbers, that's the base bid for the finished project on it, which was less than my estimate, which was closer to $475 to $500 a square foot. I don't know what the national average price for housing is in Oregon.
That's you're referring to the expansion part of it?
The expansion part of it, yeah. And there's some other things that make that more complicated, but.
Yeah.
Bottom line is this, we haven't built houses, even low-end houses, for much less than $220 a square foot for quite some time in Gillum County that I've been aware of, at least all the projects I've been involved with. So anyway, I just wanted to be clear, I'm not sure where that number came from, but
okay.
I took exception to it.
Thank you.
Well, and there's the difference between residential construction and commercial.
Absolutely there is. And there's other pieces that go along with it, including like the power is completely different. There's also alterations to the existing building that are part of that when you divide it out, it changed.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Thank you.
is there anything else?
No.
Great, thank you
much.
very much. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Jeff.
Yep, and the bus barn's looking great.
Yes.
I really like this stuff.
They're just gonna
Looks
start putting on, I think the roof's gonna be on, not next week.
Yeah.
So.
Looks great. Okay, announcements next meeting. Next meeting is June 4th. First meeting in June at the courthouse. Then another meeting to note, separate from the second June meeting for county court, is a strategic plan roundtable meeting Tuesday, July 8th at 6 p.m. Oh, I needed Leah to hear.
It's motion.
Okay. So is there any other announcements?
What was that second meeting?
Oh, I just said the strategic
Strategic
plan
plan.
round table.
July,
July
July 8th.
6 PM in
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Cotton, right?
Yep, that upstairs. So in June, we'll be starting the fiscal triennial review for the
Oh.
public health, so be busy doing that.
Mhm.
I was just wanted to bring up one thing that I thought about. It's the anniversary pay of employees. Cause right now it's like starts July 1st. But I'll just give you an example of Anya. Anya didn't get hired till August. So she goes around to the next year and she has a year, but she doesn't get to have that year step up till the next July. So I would like to revisit that whole anniversary date thing.
So instead of 12 months, it could be 16 or
Yeah,
as it is now.
it's just like the county commissioners or all the elected officials that get elected in January. They go a whole year and a half before they actually get their year step up, but I really don't care about myself, but I thought about Anya, that,
Yeah.
she was hired in August. So technically, she has to wait clear through July to the next July before she gets her first year
Yeah.
step up.
Do you want to look into that and include that in all the things we're doing with the handbook and?
Yeah.
Okay,
I'll talk to Brooklyn about it.
sure, great, thank you.
I think I talked to Brooke one time about it, and it's not really that big of a deal with the pay pro to put people's anniversary date
Okay.
in the
Mhm.
system,
Yeah.
so
Okay, good, yeah, I think that's
anyway.
something to explore.
I think that the union has also brought this up as well. So I think it's something that the court has discussed and something to definitely look into.
There's just that few that can fall through the cracks, like Anya, so, and she basically gets punished because of when she was hired, so.
Thanks for bringing that up. A couple of things I wanted to bring up. There was a lot of discussion at County College about some wolf crises that are going on around the state, Wallowa County, what happened in Lake County. And we don't have a wolf compensation committee formed currently, but I think it would be wise to get one together. Wolves are next door rather than being behind if something happens, and then we have a committee already formed. So I just wanted to let you know that
Well, they've seen them in South County.
Yeah.
I mean, they've seen them around Mayville, so, and they are in Wheeler County.
Yeah, and so tonight, there's gonna be some of us commissioners get together to talk about some things with wolves.
Yeah.
So,
Makes sense.
anyway, I think it would be good for us to have it so that then we're not scrambling if something happens.
Yeah.
So we'll work on that and figure out how to get that started.
The only thing I wanted to
But a
add too,
commissioner needs to be on it. So who wants to be on it?
Sure.
You wanna do
I
it?
don't know,
Okay.
yeah, whatever you want to do.
Great.
I
I'll
know
put-
you're getting their list too.
Okay, you'll be the commissioner assigned then.
Okay.
I will volunteer for
Okay, okay.
The only other thing I do want to mention that is the Associated College is, the statutes for homeless.
Oh,
We-
yes. I
We
forgot
need
about
to address that too.
that. Mhm,
So,
Yeah.
and I have, Bubba
mhm.
emailed me what their county has, I believe.
Okay,
So does our cold weather kind of, thin down on those?
I would have thought Portland or, Idaho, I mean, Montana, Bozeman, it
Mhm.
doesn't. You
Yeah.
would think that they would want to go,
so you wanna take that one and research it and
Yeah.
talk to our sheriff about it too? And see
yes,
if he has
yes,
any-
it's just that it was on one of those required
Oh,
that you're supposed to do.
this is what you have to do, this is
Yeah.
what you may do.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thank you for
Yeah,
doing that.
like I just want to make sure, yeah.
The other thing is, we have a payment in lieu of tax agreement with, Oregon Trail Solar. And this is the agreement. I think you might have just been brand new, that the agreement was negotiated at 5,500 megawatts. And then there were community donation agreements for SWCD and the Port of Arlington. I was approached by Avangrid because they now want to put in an optional battery storage facility, which is part of the agreement. But the agreement is silent on any payments. So we discussed what to do. There's not really anything we can do about the agreement itself because it was already negotiated. And just in the future, what we need to do if that ever comes up is we need to have a megawatt for the solar project and then the optional negotiation on the battery storage with a separate amount. But what I suggested to them, and this, I don't want this to be anything set in stone. And I wish the people that were here before were here to hear this. I suggested to them an additional community donation agreement of $50,000 for each childcare for 20 years,
Every year.
every year for 20 years.
Well, and I
Because they
think the
wanted,
reason they capped it at the time, because they said the grid could only hold so much,
Mhm.
and so,
yeah.
but now we're looking at,
Mhm.
I mean, what does that even look like? Is it look like big batteries, or, I mean,
Yeah, if they're like, storage containers,
Yeah,
like
actually,
next
about the
box,
size,
they're contained,
40-foot,
Mhm.
yeah.
Oh,
on it.
okay.
Yeah.
And they just have them,
right?
yeah.
So,
so they could potentially take some of their solar and store them in the battery storage, because
mhm. they're
where
finding ways
Or
now.
before they
to
were
store.
having to put them on the grid,
Right.
and so that's what
Mhm.
limited them.
Yeah.
And the grid had to just accept.
So if they can, and we're just in talks right now to see if we can do something, but the thing is, we wouldn't get anything because we can't amend the agreement, but this is a way to put some money back. This is, to me, one of the suggestions of Kelly Nonprofit is having the businesses step up and help, not just Gillum County, not just the families. So we'll see where it lands, but that
Well,
would be a
it's
big
good
help.
optics for them,
Mhm,
when they can
mhm. Yeah.
say, oh, we
Mhm.
donated this to the.
Right. So anyway, that's what we're trying to do. And that's really all I have.
And so it's gonna be, the battery storage will be on the same exact site
Same
where they
location.
permitted it for the other one?
Yeah.
Okay,
And it looks like it's gonna start in 28. So
cause I think, is it once they start the construction, then they
that's
have to
when
pay
payments
the,
pay.
yeah,
Mhm.
okay.
Payments start, yeah. Yeah, and when we negotiate in the future, that's something to remember too, is to have upfront payments in our agreements. We could do upfront payments before ground is broken too,
Yeah,
but yeah.
they don't like to do that very often, cause just in case there's a snafu, then.
They want to just wait and appeal it.
So is there any other further business?
Do you have any?
No, you got one more county college and you're done?
Yeah.
Yay.
I had just a couple things. I met May 19th with Alan Anderson, OWS, just to kind of give an update. They did find a lake bed on the bypass,
Oh,
a cultural thing, the topography they're about done with, but, so there is a couple things there pending, and I conveyed that with Alan and Paul, Wilson. About the bypass, they're still want to see it happen and everything, but like I told them, I said, we're still finding out. And he had one question, if it was to go through the old Cedar Springs Road, of course, Dewey wanted to immediately get the asphalt to recycle. And that was all that he was looking to do, but Alan's question was, that property goes to them. I need to get with, I guess, Chet or something, because they didn't know if there was a property, the two adjacent. Because Oregon Waste is evidently not on both sides right now there, and I don't know how, because the tracks are on the south side. So I need to get with somebody to
Chet.
clarify that.
I think if you, just from working in the title company, I think if you take the road right away, you have to give it back to whoever was the original landowner. So if half of it's Oregon Waste and the other half's Hose Apple.
That's their concern, I think.
Yeah.
So anyway,
But it depends on where the property lines actually lie with, Oregon Waste. They could be all Hose Apple. but-
well, like I say, I just can't imagine those tracks being there on Hose Apples without some kind of agreement or something. Or Oregon Waste not owning that.
Yeah, because
Anyway.
there's probably more like an easement with the railroad.
Yeah.
Through it.
And I think that was the only thing, I did, at a Korea meeting on the 9th, and I just wanted to mention, like I say, the data center, it was in Boardman, the data center is a big topic, of course, and, Umatilla Electric Co-op was there, and they took us on a tour, and they showed us a $300 million substation that they built pretty quick. It's like for 2,500 megawatts, but it's just amazing how much has went out to development for that area. And like I say, that's just a constant thing, but
Right.
yeah, one more session, that's all, yeah.
And I also went to the Alkali Ridge groundbreaking for the housing, so.
Had an eye appointment.
So,
I was on the,
Yeah, we hauled the green piles are gone at Cedar Springs, yay.
oh, good.
And then June 1st, I think, is Northwest Grain Growers takes over.
I drove by there and it was like there one day, and I drove by like I was like, wait a minute, where'd it go?
And we hauled it away.
Okay, no further business, meeting is adjourned. Thank you.